EA Sports. Big.
When you think of arcade rally games, what comes to mind? Sega Rally, Screamer, or maybe something like V-Rally? SHOX is an arcade rally game developed by EA's UK division and published by EA under the EA Sports Big label, meant for more than casual audience. The game came out in 2002 and was developed in a span of 8 months, using the F1 2002 game engine as a base. However, the game was only released for the PS2 as a result of this development cycle, and the holiday season the GameCube port was shelved. Anyways, back to the game, shall we? The game's main crux being its career mode is split up into 4 different segments, these being Compact, Sports, Turbo, Power. In each one of these segments there are about 6 races, with each race set in different environments, these being arid, jungle, and ice. Night versions of these races can be unlocked by golding a race, that means getting gold in all SHOX zones. To enter these segments you need to own a vehicle. In this case you either need to gamble or you could buy the vehicle outright if you have the cash for it. Gambling a car requires you to race an opponent and beat it in order for you to win the desired vehicle. The opponent however gets a head start and starts earlier than you, a bit unfair, but hey, rules are rules. Each segment has around 6 vehicles, with their stats varying in top speed, handling, and stability. Speed-oriented vehicles can be quite unstable and likely more to flip over during jumps and may or may not have passable handling, but the speed factor alone makes them worthwhile to try out and see if you can achieve gold with them. Handling-oriented vehicles, as the name says, are meant for taking turns and not losing much speed while doing so. They are especially useful in tracks with more sharp corners, which also may or may not require a correct handbrake pull to achieve that gold. Stability on these vehicles can be a mixed bag, and stability-oriented vehicles are usually good all-arounders and are less likely to spaz out while driving. However, they lack the characteristics of the other 2 stats, almost making them obsolete unless you know how to drive really well, that is. Now onto the gameplay. The controls are basic, with the usual cross to accelerate and square to brake, with the additional R1 button being used as a handbrake. The controls can be remapped in the settings, however the game doesn't seem to support steering wheels, so that means you probably have to try to map the steering wheel to the controller controls if you are using an emulator. The game has 3 cameras: behind camera, bumper camera, and hood camera. No interior camera, sadly. The point of the race is to finish first and earn all of the gold times via SHOX zones. The SHOX zones are checkpoints which start a timer to the next checkpoint. You are capable of winning gold, silver, and bronze, depending on how fast you drive, or nothing if you are too slow. After golding a race, you can platinum it, with the required car. Platinuming a race also rewards you a special paint job, like a black repaint. Surprisingly, this game also has regional differences, these being the vehicles. In the American and Japanese version of the game, the Mini Cooper S is an exclusive car to drive, as in the European version it's replaced by the old Mini Morris with a rather stereotypical Union Jack as its paint job. And the Aussie version has a freaking HSV Maloo off-roader. How cool is that? The physics of this game are a sight to behold. The physics in this game do not even know what to do most of the times, with the cars flipping over on a whim. This combined with the huge collision walls and you get a frustrating experience. I have had countless times where the car decided that it would like to flip over and then bug out, and thus costing me time in the SHOX zone and then losing several positions. The AI in this game is dumb, like really, with them not even noticing you most of the time. and having a mass of a tank, meaning that he could push you over no problem. This combined with rubber banding and you get a complete disaster. Not fair at all. The visuals are okay, but more fitting for a Dreamcast game rather than a PlayStation 2 game. It's like the game wants to have a cel-shaded look, but the graphics are vibrant and look cartoony for the most part. Compared to the other games that came out in 2002, I'd say it's decent, though the car models can look odd sometimes. The car damage and dirt textures on cars look great, though, with the cars losing parts and getting dirty throughout the race. However, the performance of the vehicle is not impacted when damaged, maybe because of licensing, but who knows. I have managed to gold all of the 4 segments and finish first. Only 2 or 3 races have given me trouble, with one race taking way too long to gold and doing it countless times. After earning a trophy in each segment, you get a cutscene with a guy driving a chrome blue Dakar Porsche 959 congratulating you on the effort.
Don't get cocky, hotshot. You need all 4 trophies to prove you're a contender.
Eventually, it turns out after you have gained a trophy in all 4 segments, you get to race him in a final segment just known as SHOX. Here you have 4 races to beat him and earn the title of SHOX champion. However, in order to enter these races, you need a set of platinum beaten races. The game's soundtrack is really forgettable. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2 at the same time had a good soundtrack. They could have used some for this game but chose not to. I feel like Salvia, Limp Bizkit, or even Nickelback could have done wonders for this game's soundtrack, maybe even Ron DePrisco and Hollister Hurst, as the game's soundtrack is really lackluster. The vehicle selection is interesting to say the least, ranging from hatchbacks to Group B cars to Dakar cars, a single SUV being the Cayenne for some reason. The game also supports split screen, so if you're into that, there's an option for that. One thing I will say for this game, if it was more popular, that it could have a competitive scene, but one can wonder. Emulation compatibility with PTSX2 is okay, but I have some issues here and there, like constant Z fighting with the meshes and slowdowns with the frame rate and hiccups here and there, but maybe that's because I'm using the Vulkan renderer. Comparing it to other rally games, there's not much to compare to, only Sega Rally and V Rally are close, but everything else is a sim. Was the game a failure? From EA's perspective, I'd say so. While the game had a positive reception across the board sales-wise, although there is no info, we can safely speculate that the game didn't perform well enough for EA to consider making a sequel or even a remaster/remake. The game got overshadowed by its Big Need for Speed brother, and the fact that the game probably had no marketing at all sealed its fate. As for SHOX, it will still live in our memories.
Man, I must be getting old. Still, you took my crown fair and square. You're the best. Good luck, kid.